Start with fundamental movement tonight. So I'm just looking to move Sagang Sagawas to her angle 1. Okay, I'm going to fire 1 and 2. Angle 2, 2. Working for distance, okay? My stick is burned here so I can see exactly where her stick is taped here so we can see exactly where. These are the spaces that I'm looking for. So as she moves here, I'm looking for this contact. Okay? I'm not looking for this contact to exist in here where I can reach. So I'm moving out. She comes. Oh. Okay? So trying to maximize my range and just simple Sagang Sagawas with a figure 8 counter. Okay? Let's start there. So now some of you are already doing it, and that is excellent, and we're going to make it official now. So a second ago we went here, 1, 2, okay? Starting again now here, footwork, 1, 2. Switching, 1, 2. Oh, 1, 2. All right, that was a good one. Whoa, whoa. Okay. Huh? That's okay. If you were doing it, it's just because it's natural to do so. And that is true, okay? If it's not natural or it's new, it's easy to focus on a thing, which is, okay, I need to do this, and then I need to do this, I need to do this. Once this becomes something you don't have to think about as much, then you can start to coordinate the rest of the body to be one motion. So instead of swinging the arm, I swing my whole body. Okay? Whoa. Just for a second, then we'll switch again. Okay, since some of you are already doing it. All right, let's go. Okay. I'm going to change it for you just a little bit. Okay? Just for a bit. Let's back up just a little bit. I'll trade in. So now you're here, and I just want you to watch. So I'm going to stare right at that crab. Okay, any part of it I can see, you can cover it. I can see some of it. Doesn't matter, right? Because if he's covering it, then he's doing the right thing. But I'm going to stare right at that, and I'm going to move with that. Okay? I'm going to hit his hand. He stepped forward. Oh, 1, 2. I'm going to use my peripheral vision to take care of this. Right now, there's enough focus on what his hand is doing that very many times, and he'll probably concur, when he would strike, you'd be looking at this so much. Go ahead and do an angle 1, for example. Be looking at this so much that this was going right here, and it was only by the grace of his hand that you did not get cracked in the head. Okay? So I want you to focus on not thinking about that. It's attached to him. Okay? So start to be able to see it with your peripheral and move because you can sense the distance changing between you. Yeah? Try it out. Okay. So one of the things that I want to look at really quickly, and then we'll jump to the next iteration of the drill, is moving in largo. Okay? If she strikes, my ability to create space and hit the target with the appropriate distances is critical. It's important. It's a very valid and necessary thing. When I'm striking, this is a correlation is the result of thinking in largo. Larga is this idea of going here. Okay? Looks good, maybe even feels good. Not super effective because I've extended myself as far as I can go. And now I've got to try, if she backs up, then I've got to try to go more, right? And I can only do so much of that. So when I'm striking, I want to strike with mobility in mind. I defend with range in mind. Remember that the ranges, largo mano, medio mano, corto mano, those are in relation to the defense, not necessarily the attack. Okay? So if I attack, no matter how close I am, her job is to become largo. Okay? So if I strike, she moves to her space. Okay? So if I strike, she still moves to her space. I don't have to extend myself as much as she does because I'm not the one getting hit. Right? My danger does not exist because of that. At least not right now. Okay, so as I move, I can move more naturally. Boom, boom, boom. Not only does that give us a little bit more flexibility in the space, right? Because we don't run out of space. But the other thing is it trains me to be mobile when attacking, right? I'm going to use angling to create distance. So when she strikes and I defend, I'm going to use angling to be able to make space and try to maintain that distance. She's just going to be on top of me with whatever footwork gets it done, right? And her being able to quickly be in all of these spaces just naturally is way better than one big hit from out here, right? In a sporting place, than going, bah, touche, right? It's the touch. It's I hit you, then we're done, okay? But that's not where we're working. We're working with the idea that I need to manage and flow. Manage and flow exists because of the fact that you're mobile when you strike, okay? And mobile, meaning I can be anywhere I want to be, not just in a straight line. We work in accordance with the protocol of the drill, but we're not working inside any kind of rule set of a sport, right? So as you do these next drills, as you're striking, I want you to think, where do I feel like I could move quickly? That's one, so you can continue to strike effectively. But two, it's also so that you have to realize that when striking at someone, there's potential that there'll be a moment when they start striking back at you. And the more locked down and immobile you are, then the less you're able to respond to it, right? So I want to strike with mobility so that if she decides to counter all of a sudden, then all of a sudden I've got my movement to go with it. Maybe? All right, so we'll go back here. We'll change the drill just a little bit. So we were doing with footwork here and a figure eight. So we'll start again. Now we're going to come here, redondo. Continuing striking here, redondo, here, redondo, here, redondo, here, redondo. Okay, so typical Sagang Sagawas defense followed by the redondo round or redondo circular vertical striking. Yeah? Yes, sir. All right, let's do that. Hi. So just a small change just to build to the next thing. Okay, so starting the same way, she strikes, I move here where we were going around. I'm going to come here down, up. Notice it's up, it's not this weak space. If I had an edge, it's hitting with the edge, hitting with the edge, rolling with the edge. Okay? Here. Okay? From here, up, down. Here, up, down. Here, up, down. Here, up, down. Okay? I'll strike you. Here, up, and then roll down. Yeah, so don't lose contact with it. Hit, ba, ba. Okay, so we come here, hit, and then roll from right there. Yes. Boom. Come up. Yeah. This way? Yeah. Here, roll.
This way?
Yes.
Okay.
Up.
Oh my goodness.
Down. Here. That's it. Just drop the tip. Rise. Roll. Good. Good. Okay, so again. So we come here. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom. Maybe? We try that? All right. All right. So now let's take this motion and let's apply it a little bit. So I'm looking for this idea. So as I'm coming into here and coming into here, right? We went ba, ba, ba. Right? Ba, ba, ba.
Oh,
okay. Dunk. Ba, ba. Here. What you'll notice is in this range, from right here, because of the range and the length of the weapon, I don't have to move this at all to hit that. Funny thing about about this, right? Okay? Excuse me. Will, please. So now, try not to hesitate too much. I just want you to, don't worry about that.
Okay.
I just want you to walk into my stick. Okay, so start again. Walk into it like it's not even there. Okay, let's go one more time.
Yep.
See how we changed a little bit? Okay. The point of this is to illustrate that certain things affect a lot more with a lot less. So if I go bah, just a little bit to the face and the eyes, it affects you way more than me going bah. I could do beep. Even if it's bladed, right? I mean, it might cut, it might do something, but superficial, not really too much concern. Slash, even a small nick right above the eye, bleeding, obscuring vision, right? The eye itself, all of these things, right? We naturally don't want to get hit in the face for good reason. And so because of that, we also tend to make sure that that doesn't happen. But it also means that when we're here, we'll go ahead and work the drill a little bit. Here, in here, it's all I really need to have done something to his face. Right? So we come again, boom, in, out. Boom, in, out. And here. Boom. Okay? Now, don't hit each other in the face. Have good control with what you're doing, but try not to be 2 miles away either. Okay? But recognize that there's a time and a place. The thing that I want you to see is the fact that if you do a motion that's just wrist, recognize that its power is diminished because it lost the chain of the body. Right? And without the chain of the body, then you don't have all of that entire momentum and energy that builds. And so you have to hit places that it affects anyway. Right? If he comes into me to hit and I go, ah! He's probably going to take my head off with the next swing that I'd never stopped from coming. Right? Makes sense? So, but to the face, something different. All right. Thank you. Okay, let's change. And by that I mean we're just going to talk some details, some different things, talk to different people about. So, as we look at this, this motion, right, in here, you have, okay, and you'll notice that this comes back to this space, hitting up, but then this not really moving a lot, and we talked about why. The other things to look at is how about when? When would you do this? These guys already heard it because we were already talking to them, okay? So one, depending on the situation, as I hit, right, this can be a very good hit to the knee, and it does not have to be all the way through. It can just be boom, right? And then back around. Very helpful when you hit bone, because bone tends to bounce, right? So if I'm clubbing that and it rebounds, instead of fighting that rebound, I let that rebound carry it into the next hit, right? Slashing is kind of more of a chop cut, right? You're just kind of hitting in and coming back out, which means that there was never a long slash. It's not necessarily a deep cut in that space. Okay. Does that make sense? There's changes. We'll go with that 3, and we'll look at the way this stops at a medio. 3, then follow into 4. This here, this space here. Okay, so we'll go 3. We'll go 3, we'll stop into 4. Okay, so now you see here, well, this is in my way, so now I stop the stick, hit this. Okay, so it's just a change that I can take. Okay. We also talked about the sporting element of it, which is I go to strike low, she goes to defend low, and I hit her in the head instead. Okay. Again, that's a consensual violence thing, though I'm learning how to work off of a defense too. It's a consensual violence thing because feints are not a good situation. If I drop with the intent that her hand goes low and then to hit, I have to assume that she has a programmed response that will tell her to do that, which she may not, right? It's not necessarily, I don't believe that feinting is a good tactic in non-consensual violence because you don't get to choose how they respond, right? Feinting works off of programmed response. If you are likely to do a certain thing, then I may be able to follow up a certain way. That only works if you actually do that thing, right? So you see people that go, and they pop this, and then they land the other one, right? Okay. So you go pick anybody who's been involved in street violence, for example. Somebody grew up bad side of town, has been in violence a lot. They don't even have to move. If you don't intend to hit them, they know it because they've been hit enough times to know whether or not it's going to matter. And if it doesn't and they don't move, it changes your situation, right? Or worse yet, instead of moving, they hit you. Okay? Now, there are times when this does work because maybe I go in to hit and we're moving and I hit and she happens to be hitting at the same time. Then that's just me redirecting. It's not a feint, it's a choice to change what I'm about to do. We can be in, we hitting, she's defending. Okay, then we both hit low and I change to hit high because I know that low. Now you notice the first time I did this, we both go low. And I dealt with this here. And it was because if she was intending to go low and I also was intending to go low and then I choose to switch and she's still intending to go low, then that hit comes through, right? So you have to deal with that if you're going to do something like that. It also helps when you, this interaction also takes place on defenses. Okay, so maybe I'm hitting and she defends a la contra here. Yeah, that's it. Right? Okay, so we'll go off the other side. I come here. I might use that rebound of that hit to follow mine through. So that same idea of that rebound, only instead of rebounding because I did it, it's rebounding because it was interrupted, and then I continue on. Right? So it's just different places that you might see this individual thing take place. And there's different ways to do it, because when we come in here, I come in, hit, and I could slap out this way, right? Instead of coming through the front side, I come through the back side. Okay, we go angle 2. Okay, could whip this way instead, adding this here. It can also be done. We'll go angle, that'll be fine. Down, and we go angle 4. Okay, as we come into this space, as I come in and hit, this can be this. Right? There's places that I can hit. We'll just keep feeding some things. Okay, make sense? Questions? No? Making sense? Okay. So it's just motion. Right now we dealt with some fundamental movement and ways that it can manifest as you're working, right? You will naturally find what your favorite type of movement is, things that you like to do. People are talking about these redondos here and liking those, whereas I found that I really like this redondo. It's a favorite. Every opportunity I get, I'm probably going to fire it just because I like it so much that I practice it a lot, so it just happens. She hits and done, right? Because whatever you do a lot is what you do when you're not thinking. Does that make sense? Okay. So we'll look at this. We'll look at this. We'll go ahead and maybe we'll work the, for dessert, maybe we'll work the close range one. So you're striking, we'll go 3-4. Oh, yeah. So 3, 4, 4, here, okay? So there's my stop, here's my hit. Okay, so I pass the 3, I enter to 4, I scoop and I hit. Okay, 3, 4, scoop and hit. Okay, now you're being nice, don't let go of your weapon. 3, 4. The nice thing about this is if she holds nice and tight, this is my control point while I hit. So that first hit hits, and then I keep hitting, and I keep hitting, and I keep hitting. Okay? So if they let go of their stick, great. We'll deal with that. We come here, we come here, we come here. Stick is gone. I can still hit around. Doesn't let go of the stick. Passing, entering, hitting, 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 hitting. Okay? So it doesn't matter. There's options, and in this case, the options are the same whether they drop the stick or not. Let's play with that. Quick, the detail. I said it, but let's point it out. I'm allowing this to pass, and then I'm entering and interrupting it here. Footwork is a what?
So it doesn't wind up out.
Huh?
So
That's a Y. What footwork am I doing? Usa kalakang. Yes, she strikes. I step back, I step in. Okay? So I'm changing the space. I don't want to get hit with the first one, otherwise I just do this. Okay, so I'm passing this, extending this, and then that's my footwork. So I've closed this space. If I try to do this here, bah, and then I try to do this here, see that nice ramp? Yeah. Not so good.
No.
Okay, so I've got to pass, enter, and there's my space. Okay? All right, let's try.